GS score,
GS score, GS score,
GS score,
GS score, GS score,
GS score,
GS score,
GS score,
GS score है, GS score,
GS score,
GS score,
GS score,
GS score,
GS score.
GS score.
Hi, dear students. Myself, Dr. Surendra K. Singh, Faculty of Sociology. Today, the purpose of the meeting is to provide you the brief account of the course which we are offering in terms of Q&A in Sociology, in Civils. I'll let you know what are the things which we are going to do. The entire course, along with the concept building to the assessment, to the tests, to the mentorship, and also the anticipation of the questions, would be somewhere around 80 to 100 hours. However, we basically needed to understand that this Q&A which we are offering, or which we will be talking about today, is not the test series. Rather, it is a mini foundation kind of course of the sociology. Those who have not been able to do the entire course, entire coaching of the syllabus, sociology syllabus, as an optional, or those who have been preparing themselves and they want to know whether they are in right track or not. This course has been tailored in such a manner that it will satisfy all your needs. Now, when we are looking at this Q&A, it would also be helpful to those who, after the prelims, will be opting for the crash course kind of one. Will be going for the quick revision of the syllabus, what they have done already. And in that very perspective, along with the tests, it will suit them not only to revisit the old concepts, the old knowledge, what they have gained in sociology as an optional, but also to recap, memorize, revisit, and find out where the things require to be improved. Now, when we're looking at this Q&A, basically, this Q&A is for all those people to whom we're talking about in terms of a certain trend, and tests along with the assessment would be done. And in this very perspective, what we basically need to do is 4 dimensions which we are talking about. And that 4 dimension is basically, we'll be focusing on plan, prepare, assess, and improve. Ultimately, what we will be presenting in the mains, how we will be tackling the questions, and you would be able to address the need disposition of the question, that is the prime concern. And that's why, in this entire one, plan, prepare, assess, and improve, the 2 things that we'll always have to take note of, that is basically the context, and then content. I don't know, in several occasions I have always said that yes, in a mains, particularly in civils, writing practice is must. But when you say writing practice is must, you need to understand what is the content to be written. Unless and until you are very confident what the content is all about, what is the need disposition of the question, what it requires, that way the things are to be talked about. And in this very perspective, we'll plan the entire syllabus. You'll be getting the synopsis of that one. Every day you'll be talking, we will be knowing about that, what we are going to talk about. And then we'll prepare with the lecture. We'll assess your knowledge. And assessment is not only about your knowledge. Assessment is all about looking at what kind of questions have been asked. What are the PYQs? And what questions could also be anticipated from there. And if there is any scope of improvement, our major focus would be in that improvement kind of perspective. Many times when we read alone, when we prepare the notes, and it has not been assessed, it has not been checked, we do not know that where we are going wrong. And that way, the scope of improvement becomes very less. And in this very perspective, this plan, prepare, assess, and improvement would be the more important one. For which, what we have done, that we have basically tried to go with the roadmap of this one. You know, this is the curve on the basis of which the entire course of the concept building, the thematic one, the sectional one, the tests, the discussions, the mentorship, everything is based on this curve. And of late, when you are looking at UPSC, you might have come to know that everything is conceptual. So the first part in terms of the plan, prepare, assess, and improvement is to focus on concept building. The entire units which we'll be talking about right from the paper 1 to paper 2, their interlinkages, their dimensions, the major conceptual perspectives, that concept should be on our tips. The theoretical dimensions should be known to you. So the first part of the curve in a Q&A, what we are focusing, or what we will be talking about, is the concept building. In which once again the context and the content what is to be picked up in the concept building would be the prime concern. We will also be trying to know how to go behind the lines. Many times we read it and we do not try to understand the essence of that, what we have read. So once we have known about the context, when we have known about the content, what is to be written, what that concept is all about, what are the requirement of that one, then we will also be trying to go behind the lines so that we would be able to do justice with the neat disposition of the question. And once we have done the conceptual building, then we will basically be looking at the trend analysis. And when I said trend analysis, in the last few year questions, we were looking at which kind of trends from the different units have been asked. However, let me make it very clear here. When we are saying last few years, when we are looking at what are the trend or what is the trend which is coming out, it does not mean the essence of the subject would be forgotten. In this entire course, we will be focusing on the entire one. And then, once we have known the entire syllabus right from the paper 1 to paper 2, then we will be looking at the trend analysis. And the first part of that trend analysis we will be talking about in terms of PYQs. Then and there, we will not be waiting. Once you have developed the concept, the questions banks are there, question bank is there with you. I'll let you know what are the questions which have been asked and what this question requires and how this trend is changing. And once we have done the trend analysis, then the next part of that curve in our preparation would be practice. The tests we'll be talking about. Not from the PYQs, but the certain tests where the context would be there, that would be similar. The words may change so that the depth of your knowledge could be checked out. And sometimes, when you look at the question prima facie, you find that what kind of question is there? But if you are conceptually very clear, you find that yes, this question could be answered in a better manner. And that way, here comes the practice test. Once we have done that one, then we will basically be going for the assessment, that is the fourth stage, in which we will assess your conceptual understanding. If something has gone wrong, that would also be assessed. And the test which you have taken will be thoroughly evaluated. And then we will find about with a certain dimension that if any perspective is required, something is missing out. So that way the assessment would be done. And this assessment would basically be making you more solid in terms of your writing. It will be giving more confidence to you. Because the dimensions have been opened up, concepts have been opened up, the themes would be coming out. A methodological dimensions requirement of that question would be talked about. And once we have done that one, then certainly it will be a scope for the improvement. And when this assessment is done, assessment would also be the part of the mentorship. It's not merely about teaching one-way traffic that goes. Notes have been given, the things have been discussed. No. It's a complete mentorship. You and me, one-to-one, sometimes in the Google meeting, sometimes offline if you are able to come, online, whatever the mode that suits you, whatever that will become convenient for us, that way the complete mentorship will be going on. And not merely till the course goes, even after the course. Once you are writing something, once you have certain kind of problem, that mentorship would be there because we will be making a WhatsApp group and there you can post the questions and I can talk to you people. And this mentorship would help you improve whatever you have gone, whatever you have heard, whatever the things which you are lacking, wherever the things are not going in the right directions, everything will be talked about. You know, the major purpose, the objective of us, me as a mentor of yours, and you taking a mains, is basically to qualify and qualify with the good marks. And we all know that when you're looking at the successful candidates, their marks in our optional paper and plus essay has been a quite handy one. Will not be leaving any stone unturned. And wherever the certain scope, even ITA, will find that here we need to improve. We'll be talking about that one. That way I'm saying, the major part is here, dear. Concept will be done, everything will be done. But sometimes, when you feel low, when you feel that something is lacking, I need more, here is the USP of that course. Right? With me as a mentor of yours. And once we have improved, then from here we will also be looking at anticipation. I always say anticipation means not necessarily all the questions which have been asked in last few years, they would be repeated. Yes, some questions could be repeated. Some concepts will be repeated because the themes have been written over there. That themes are static from where the questions could be asked. We also need to anticipate that if certain dimension has been opened up and from there the question has not come, what kind of questions could be asked? So from static to dynamic, everything will be done. And that's why I said this course has been tailored in such a manner that it is some sort of mini foundation course, some sort of crash course, along with the test series kind of one. The assessments will be done, the concept building would be the prime concern, the classes would be there. You will be watching the video, you will be looking at the concepts, you will develop it. Tests would be regular, so that you can write it down, you can send it, it will be evaluated thoroughly. And then every test, every questions will be discussed. Whatever the improvement is required, we will be dealing that one. And in this very perspective, the things are to be talked about. In the concept building, we'll basically be talking about the synopsis. Synopsis of every unit in paper 1 and paper 2. The theoretical, methodological dimensions which you have become comfortable with. The conceptual understanding we have developed in the first paper. How that has to be applied. What specific dimensions and theories and methodologies are required in the second paper. That would also be focused. And that way the course has been designed, that way the course has been planned. And that's why time and again, once again I'm saying, that all those who are preparing themselves and they are in a condition, they are in a fix whether they are going in the right direction or not. This is the course in which the one-to-one discussion should be done. And also those who have done their course and after the prelims they will be going for the mains in a shorter span of time. They could revisit whatever knowledge they have gained, whatever the data they have gathered in sociology, whatever the preparation they have done in sociology, along with the tests, along with the writing practice, and along with that mentorship. And in that very perspective, the major units of the paper 1, paper 2 will be done. However, in the WhatsApp group, what we will be making, whatever the certain questions which I will be supplying, that could be there as a part of the mentorship in which there may be probability that they would not be talked about in the class. But if there is any kind of confusion, any kind of clarity that you need, apart from the course design that has been provided to you, that would be done to you. And in this very perspective, that's why I said that we say about 40, no, the entire one right from the concept building to the anticipation. This entire duration of the course would be 80 to 100 hours. And in this very perspective, I hope and I promise nothing will go wrong. Sociology will not be cause of rejection. With this, I invite all of you, whosoever are interested in Q&A of sociology as an optional in civils, come, join, and feel the difference. I wish all of you the best of luck. Thank you.